Hello everyone and welcome to this video, which is a little different compared to the videos I normally share on my channel. You see, over the last couple of years I've taken on a new hobby, which is that of building my own mechanical keyboards. In this video I'll be sharing with you my latest unboxing as well as a complete build from start to finish of my latest high-end mechanical keyboard. It's a bit of a long video, so sit back and relax and I'll take you through the entire process. Please consider liking and subscribing and feel free to share the video, it helps me out a lot. The keyboard that I'm building today is by an Australian company called Rama. It is a 10 keyless keyboard that sports an anodized aluminium body, a mirror polished brass weight and also a mirror polished brass plate. This is the color variation called Soya, which is sort of a creamy off-white color. The brown box contains various parts and components that will be used for the build. You get some tools, various screws, 2 rubber feed strips, a rubber dampening pad and most importantly the actual PCB. The black and yellow box contains the keyboard body and the mirror polished brass plate. They are both firmly tucked in, so they are kept safe during transportation. For this keyboard I'll be using the popular Alpaca switches. It's a linear switch that bottoms out at 62 grams. It has a polycarbonate top housing and a nylon bottom housing. The stem is made out of polyoxymethylene, or in common tongue POM or POM. I will need a total of 86 switches for this build, and I'll be opening them all up so that I can apply loop and film to them. I'm going to use Krytox 205 grade 0 for the switches and stabilizers. It's a great lubricant ideal for this purpose. For the springs, I'm using Krytox GPL 105. It has a lower viscosity and is ideal for springs. Finally, I use TX switch films with a thickness of 0.125 mm. I start by looping the bottom housing. I make sure to apply loop to all areas that will be in direct contact with the stem, so on the side channels as well as around and inside the middle column. When looping the stem, I just cover all four sides. Since this is a linear switch, I go right ahead and apply loop to the legs also. I then add some loop to the center stalk as well. I tend to use a generous amount of loop, but I make sure to even it out and I remove any excess loop if needed. Assembling the switch is simple. I just revert the process of disassembling it. However, I start by adding the switch film. I place it on top of the bottom housing with a pair of tweezers. I then place the spring on the center column and then place the stem on top of the spring, with the legs facing the metal leaf. Finally, I add the top housing and snap it back together. I prefer back looping the springs. It's easier and much faster. I put all of the springs inside a bag, add a few drops of oil, seal the bag and give it a good shake. My looping station only supports 36 switches at a time, so I'll be repeating this process a couple of times. We'll now move on to the keyboard by first having a look at the contents of the small bag of accessories that came with it. Inside the bag we find the various screws, some tools, a switch puller, a USB cable and some stickers. First order of business is to take out the PCB so that we can screw on some standoffs to the front of it. As for stabilizers, I'm using the Durock V2 screw-in stabilizers, and for this build I'll be needing the longer of the two included spacebar wires. With the stabilizers, I'm going to apply the Holy mod. This means that I will insert a tiny strip of Band-Aid inside the stem part of the stabilizers. This will provide a dampening effect and eliminate any ticking sound that might occur when the wire hits the interior of the stem. The interior housing of the stabilizers is also given some lube. However, I avoid lubing the actual stems since I don't want to have too much lube inside of the stabilizers. Once again, I'm being somewhat generous with the amount of lube that I apply, but I make sure to spread it out evenly and I ensure that there's no excess of lube anywhere. For the wires, I also use Krytox 205. I know a lot of mech builders prefer to use dielectric grease, and I do have a lot of that lying around, but based on my personal experience, Krytox 205 works just as good, so I don't really bother with dielectric grease anymore. time to attach the stabilizers to the PCB. As mentioned, the Durock V2s are screw-in stabs. This means that once they have been placed on top of the PCB, they are secured by a screw from the rear. Next up is to place the rubber dampening pad on top of the PCB. This will be sandwiched between the PCB and the plate that we will add on top in a minute. The plate is secured by 12 small screws that fit into the standoffs that we attached to the PCB earlier. We're now ready to insert all the switches onto the PCB. This is a hot swap PCB, which means that no soldering is required. This also means that it will be easier to swap the switches should I so desire in the future. When inserting switches, it is important to check that the pins on the back of them are all straight, or else you run the risk of damaging them. It's time to place the PCB inside of the keyboard chassis, but first we need to do a bit of quick disassembly. I'm going to add an extra silicone dampener to the interior of the keyboard body. It fits right onto the floor of the keyboard base. This will improve the acoustics of the keyboard by significantly reducing the level of hollowness coming from it. Before we can close the case, the daughter board with the USB-C port needs to be secured onto the base. Now the time has finally come to put on some keycaps. For this build I've chosen one of my favorite sets. It's called Belafonte and it's made by GMK. It's a cherry profile keycap set, and the colorway as well as the name of the set draws inspiration from one of my favorite movies, Life Aquatic. A wonderful movie by one of my favorite directors. Anyways, it's quite possibly not for everyone, but I actually think that this colorway goes quite well with the color of the keyboard. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. To top it all off, I have one last thing to add to this build. I was really lucky to get this in the mail while I was working on this video. It's a custom made USB-C cable that matches the colorway of the keycaps. It's made by Space Cables, which is a cable maker that I've had really great experiences with in the past. The quality is just top notch. Obviously, having a coil and an aviator connector on the cable is 100% just for looks. Personally, I just think it looks awesome, and it takes the keyboard build to a whole new level. We've now finished the entire build. I'll wrap the video up with a short slideshow and also a sound test of the keyboard. But before we get to that, I'd just like to thank you for watching. I know this video is a bit different compared to the typical content of this channel, but I like to see this channel as a way for me to express myself creatively, and at this point in my life, mechanical keyboards is just another thing that I'm passionate about. So thanks for sticking with me, and do leave me a like and a comment on this video if you enjoyed watching it. Thanks a lot, and see you guys in the next one.